In a shocking turn of events at the Sunset Valley truck stop, what started as routine intimidation by a notorious biker gang turned into a life-changing encounter when they confronted the wrong person, a highly trained former Marine Force recon officer. What unfolds next is not just a story of confrontation, but one of redemption, as these hardened bikers discover that their greatest battle isn't on the roads, but within themselves. Their lives take an unexpected turn when the very woman they tried to intimidate becomes their pathway to redemption. Before we dive into today's story, let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. And if you enjoy stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got another amazing tale waiting for you tomorrow. Martha stands behind the counter, wiping down the surface for the 100th time that evening. The familiar smell of coffee and diesel fuel fills the air as truckers come and go, their heavy boots marking time on the worn linoleum floor. Emma Chen sits quietly at the counter, her military-trained eyes scanning the room out of habit. "More coffee, hun?" Martha asks, already reaching for the pot. "Thanks, Martha. Quiet night?" Martha's hand trembles slightly as she pours. Too quiet. Those storm riders have been causing trouble up and down the highway. Been steering clear of here so far, but... Emma nods, understanding the unspoken concern. Her fingers trace the rim of her coffee cup, a habit from years of staying alert in combat zones. The setting sun casts long shadows through the windows, painting the truck stop in shades of amber and gold. Tom Baker emerges from the back, his aged but still sturdy frame carrying boxes of supplies. "Evening, Emma. Didn't expect to see you here this late." "Just passing through, Tom, checking on some veterans in the area." The rumble of motorcycles cuts through their conversation. Martha freezes, coffee pot mid-pour. Outside, 5 bikes pull into the lot, their chrome gleaming in the dying sunlight. The storm riders have arrived. Jack Thunder Morrison leads the pack, his massive frame dismounting first. Tank and Ghost flank him, while Razor and Wolf spread out, creating an intimidating presence. The door chimes as they enter, bringing with them an atmosphere of tension and unease. Thunder surveys the room, his eyes settling on Sarah, the young waitress. "Well, well, what do we have here? Looks like we found ourselves a nice little stop." Emma remains still, watching as the bikers spread out. Tank looms over an elderly couple, making them shrink in their booth. Ghost positions himself near the door, while Razor and Wolf start harassing customers at the counter. "Hey, sweetheart," Thunder calls to Sarah. "How about some special service for me and my boys?" Sarah backs away, clutching her notepad like a shield. Martha steps forward, but Emma's hand catches her arm, gently holding her back. "I got this," Emma says quietly, her voice carrying years of command experience. Thunder notices the exchange and turns his attention to Emma. "Got something to say, sweetheart?" Emma sets her coffee down deliberately. "The lady's not interested. Neither is anyone else here." The bikers exchange amused glances. Thunder approaches Emma, his massive frame towering over her seated form. "And who's going to stop us? You?" Emma remains seated, her posture relaxed but ready. "Last chance. Leave these people alone and walk away." Thunder laughs, the sound echoing through the now silent diner. "Or what? Or you'll learn why picking fights with strangers is a bad idea." Tank steps forward, cracking his knuckles. "Boss, let me handle this one." Thunder raises his hand, stopping Tank. "No. I want to hear what the lady has to say." He leans closer to Emma. "You've got a big mouth for someone so... small." Emma finally stands, her movements fluid and controlled. Size isn't everything. Marine Force Recon taught me that. The mention of Force Recon causes a flicker of uncertainty in Thunder's eyes, but he masks it quickly with a sneer. "Military, huh? Well, this ain't the battlefield, sweetheart." "No," Emma agrees. "It's not. On a battlefield, I wouldn't give you this many chances to walk away." The tension in the room is palpable. Truckers begin to stand, ready to back Emma if needed. Thunder looks around, noting the shifting dynamics, but his pride won't let him back down. "You think having a few truckers on your side makes you tough?" I don't need them to handle you, Emma responds calmly. But they're standing up because that's what good people do. Something you seem to have forgotten. Thunder's face darkens. Boys, show this military princess what happens when... Before he can finish, Emma moves. Her years of training take over as she sidesteps Thunder's grab, using his momentum against him. In one fluid motion, she has him face down on the counter, arm locked behind his back. Tank rushes forward but stops dead when Emma applies slight pressure, causing Thunder to grunt in pain. The other bikers freeze, uncertain how to handle this unexpected turn of events. Like I said, Emma speaks calmly, despite holding down a man twice her size. Last chance. Walk away. The entire truck stop holds its breath, waiting to see what happens next. Thunder struggles briefly but stops when he realizes Emma's hold only tightens with resistance. Okay, he growls. Let me up. Emma releases him slowly, staying ready. Thunder straightens up, rubbing his arm, his face a mask of humiliation and rage. This isn't over, he spits. Yes, it is, Emma responds. Unless you want me to demonstrate more of what Force Recon taught me. Thunder backs away, gesturing to his crew. They file out, engines roaring to life moments later. As they peel out of the parking lot, Martha approaches Emma, hands shaking slightly. I've never seen anything like that. Emma sits back down, picking up her coffee as if nothing had happened. Sometimes the best fights are the ones you prevent. She looks toward the door. But they'll be back. Men like that always come back. Tom moves behind the counter, his face grim. Then we'll be ready. Emma nods, knowing this is just the beginning. The Storm Riders would return, but next time they'd face not just her, but a united community ready to stand its ground. Several miles down the highway, the Storm Riders gather at their makeshift base in an abandoned gas station. Thunder paces back and forth, his anger radiating off him in waves. The other bikers watch silently, their earlier bravado replaced with uncertainty. Who does she think she is? Thunder growls, slamming his fist against a rusted gas pump. Making us look like fools. Tank leans against his bike, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. Force Recon ain't no joke, boss. Maybe we should... Should what? Thunder whirls on him. Back down? Let some woman make the Storm Riders look weak? Ghost speaks up from the shadows, his quiet voice carrying unexpected weight. She's different. Trained. Professional. I don't care if she's trained by the devil himself. Thunder roars. Nobody humiliates us and gets away with it. Razor steps forward, always the strategic thinker of the group. Then we need a plan. Can't just rush in again. She'll be expecting that. Back at the truck stop, Emma helps Martha clean up while Tom makes calls to other local businesses, warning them about the Storm Riders. Sarah's hands have finally stopped shaking as she counts her tips. You really think they'll come back? Sarah asks, glancing nervously at the door. Emma nods, her expression serious. Men like that, their pride won't let them walk away, especially not after being humiliated. Dave Cooper, a regular trucker, approaches the counter. We've got your back, Emma. Word's already spreading among the drivers. Nobody wants those thugs around here. I appreciate it, Dave, but I don't want anyone getting hurt. These men are dangerous and they're about to become desperate. Mike Harrison, the Vietnam vet who practically lives in Booth 7, hobbles over on his cane. Then maybe it's time we showed them what a real community looks like. Emma studies the old veteran's face, seeing the same determination she's witnessed in countless soldiers. What did you have in mind, Mike? Every trucker that comes through here knows about the Storm Riders now. We've got CB radios, cell phones. The minute those bikes appear on the horizon, we'll know. Tom returns from his office, his face grim. Just got off the phone with Sheriff Parker. She says they've had reports of the Storm Riders causing trouble all along the interstate. Assaults, vandalism, intimidation. Jenny's a good cop, Emma says. But by the time the police arrive, it's usually too late. Martha sets down a fresh pot of coffee. Then what do we do? Emma's eyes scan the truck stop, taking in every exit, every potential vulnerability. We prepare, and we show them that this place isn't just a building, it's a family. Outside, the sound of more trucks arriving draws their attention. Big Rig Johnson, a mountain of a man known for his level head and fair dealing, walks in with 3 other drivers. "Heard what happened?" Big Rig rumbles. "Thought you might want some extra company tonight." Emma smiles, recognizing the silent support being offered. "Appreciate it, Big Rig, but I don't want anyone risking themselves." "Ain't about risk," one of the other drivers says. "It's about standing together." Meanwhile, at the Storm Riders base, Thunder has finally stopped pacing. His face is set in a cold mask of determination. "Here's what we're gonna do," he announces. "We hit them tonight, late, when they think they're safe." Tank shifts uncomfortably. "Boss, maybe we should think this through. That woman got lucky," Thunder cuts him off. "She caught us off guard. Won't happen again." Razor eyes his leader carefully. "And if the truckers get involved, then we handle them too. Nobody makes the Storm Riders look weak. Nobody." Ghost melts out of the shadows, his voice barely above a whisper. "Something's different about this one, boss. She's not afraid, not like the others." "Then we'll give her something to be afraid of," Thunder snarls. The other bikers exchange glances, but say nothing. They've seen Thunder like this before, and they know better than to argue when he gets this way. Back at the truck stop, Emma's phone rings. It's her brother, Dr. James Chen. "Emma, heard about what happened. You okay?" "I'm fine, James. Just another day at the office." "This isn't Afghanistan, sis. You don't have to fight everyone's battles." Emma watches as more trucks pull into the lot, drivers she's never met coming to stand with the community. "Sometimes the battles choose you, little brother, and sometimes they're worth fighting. Just be careful. These guys aren't soldiers. They don't play by rules. Neither did half the people we dealt with overseas. Trust me, I can handle it." As night falls, the truck stop takes on the appearance of an impromptu fortress. Trucks park strategically around the perimeter, their drivers inside drinking coffee and sharing stories, but everyone's eyes keep drifting to the highway. Sarah approaches Emma, her earlier fear replaced with determination. "Teach me." "Teach you what?" "How to defend myself. If they come back, I don't want to be helpless." Emma studies the young waitress for a moment, seeing something of herself in those determined eyes. "Okay. First lesson, the best defense isn't about fighting, it's about awareness." As Emma begins showing Sarah basic self-defense stances, Martha watches with a mixture of pride and concern. Tom moves among the truckers, refilling coffee cups and sharing updates from his police scanner. The night deepens, but no one leaves. They all know the Storm Riders will return. The only question is when. And somewhere out in the darkness, Thunder rallies his crew, their engines growling like predators preparing to strike. The midnight hour creeps in at Sunset Valley Truck Stop, but unlike most nights, the parking lot remains full. Truckers who would normally be sleeping in their cabs sit alert inside, their CB radios crackling with updates from drivers along the highway. Emma stands by the window, her trained eyes scanning the darkness. The fluorescent lights of the truck stop create a pool of safety in the vast night, but she knows better than to trust in artificial barriers. "Movement on the South Road." Big Rig's voice comes through the radio. 5 bikes, running dark." Emma's muscles tense slightly, the only outward sign of her heightened alertness. "They're trying to be subtle. That's new." Tom moves to lock the door, but Emma stops him. "Leave it. We don't want them thinking we're afraid." The Storm Riders appear like shadows, their bikes nearly silent as they coast into the lot. Thunder leads them in a tight formation, their usual swagger replaced by something more calculated. Inside, Sarah's hands shake slightly as she sets down a coffee pot, but her voice remains steady. "They're back." "They are," Emma confirms. "Remember what we practiced. Stay calm. Stay aware." The bikers dismount, their movements synchronized in a way that speaks of planning. Thunder's face is a mask of cold determination as he approaches the door. This time, there's no theatrical entrance, no immediate intimidation. He's learned. "Evening," Thunder says as he enters, his voice deceptively pleasant. "Hope we're not interrupting anything." Emma remains by the window, her position carefully chosen to keep all 5 bikers in view. "You know you are. Question is, why?" Tank and Ghost move to flank the door while Razor and Wolf spread out along the counter. The strategy is clear. They're trying to control the space. "Can't a group of riders stop for coffee?" Thunder asks, his fake smile never reaching his eyes. "Coffee's not what you're here for," Emma responds calmly. Thunder's smile fades. "No, it's not. We're here to finish what we started." "Nothing got started," Emma corrects him. "You tried to intimidate people, it didn't work, and now your pride's hurt. Walk away while you can." Thunder laughs, but there's no humor in it. "You military types, always so confident. But you're not in uniform anymore, sweetheart. Out here, different rules apply." Emma steps away from the window, her movements casual but precise. "Rules like ganging up on people, harassing women, threatening elderly couples, those the rules you live by?" Thunder's face darkens. "You don't know anything about us." "I know enough. I know you're better than this, or at least you could be." This catches Thunder off guard. For a moment, something flickers across his face. Doubt, perhaps, or memory of who he used to be. Tank steps forward, breaking the moment. "Boss, we didn't come here to talk." "No," Thunder agrees, his expression hardening again. "We didn't." The tension in the room ratchets up as the bikers begin to move, but they've underestimated the preparation of their opponents. Truckers rise from their seats, forming a solid wall of support behind Emma. "Last time," Emma says quietly, "you had the advantage of surprise. This time, we're ready for you." Wolf laughs nervously. "Ready? Look around, lady. You've got what, a bunch of tired truckers? We're the Storm Riders. We own these roads." "No." Mike Harrison speaks up from his booth, his Vietnam veteran's cap sitting proudly on his head. "You don't own anything here. This is our home." Thunder's eyes narrow as he surveys the room. The situation isn't playing out as he'd planned. The easy intimidation he'd expected has turned into something else entirely. "Think carefully about your next move," Emma advises, "because this time, if you start something, we'll finish it." Ghost melts out of the shadows near the door, his quiet voice carrying unexpected weight. "Boss, maybe we should—" "Shut up," Thunder snaps, but there's a note of uncertainty in his voice. Sarah steps forward, surprising everyone. Her voice shakes slightly, but her words are clear. "You don't scare us anymore." Thunder turns to her, his face twisting with anger. "Is that right?" He moves towards Sarah, but Emma is already there, stepping between them. This time, there's nothing subtle about her stance. It's pure Marine Corps combat readiness. "Don't," Emma warns, her voice carrying the weight of someone who has faced far worse than angry bikers. The truckers move closer, their numbers making the spacious diner feel suddenly crowded. Thunder looks around, seeing his advantage slipping away. "This isn't how this was supposed to go," he growls. "No," Emma agrees. "You thought you could come in here and prove something, show everyone how tough you are. But real toughness isn't about intimidation. It's about standing up for what's right." Thunder's hand clenches into a fist, and for a moment, it seems like he might throw everything away on one desperate attack. But then Ghost speaks again, his voice carrying a note of recognition. "Boss, I know her. Afghanistan, 2015. She was Force Recon, all right? Her unit saved our convoy when we got hit outside Kandahar." Thunder's head snaps around. "What?" "I was Army," Ghost continues. "Transport Division. We got ambushed. Bad. Her team got us out. Lost a lot of good men that day, but would have lost more without them." The revelation hangs in the air, changing the atmosphere in subtle but significant ways. Thunder looks back at Emma, seeing her in a new light. That true? Emma nods once. Ghost was a good soldier. Don't know what brought him to your crew, but he's right about Kandahar. The moment stretches, heavy with possibility. Thunder's face shows a complex mix of emotions: anger, respect, confusion, pride. Finally, he steps back. This isn't over. Yes, Emma says firmly. It is. You just don't know it yet. Thunder gestures to his crew, and they begin backing toward the door. But this time, there's less menace in their retreat, more uncertainty. As they leave, Ghost lingers for a moment. Thank you, he says quietly. For Kandahar. Emma nods, recognizing the weight of shared experience. Welcome home, soldier. The bikes roar to life outside, but the sound is different now, less threatening, more retreat than advance. As they disappear into the night, the truck stop collectively exhales. They'll be back, Big Rig rumbles. Maybe, Emma agrees, but something's changed. They just don't realize it yet. The storm riders regroup at their compound, but the atmosphere is different now. Thunder sits on his bike, staring into the distance while the others watch him uncertainly. Ghost's revelation has shaken something loose in the group's dynamic. Want to explain that back there? Thunder finally asks, his voice dangerously quiet. Ghost steps forward, his usually shadowy presence now clear in the dim light. What I said was true. She was force recon. Her unit saved my life. Saved a lot of lives. Tank shifts uncomfortably. Why didn't you say something earlier? Didn't recognize her at first. Been a long time since Kandahar. Thunder stands suddenly, his massive frame tense with conflicting emotions. Doesn't change anything. She made us look weak. The storm riders don't let that slide. Razor, ever the voice of reason, speaks up. Maybe we're looking at this wrong, boss. If she's military, if she saved Ghost. What? Thunder snaps. We give her a pass? Let everyone think we've gone soft? Meanwhile, back at the truck stop, Emma helps Sarah practice defensive stances while the truckers maintain their vigil. Martha brings out fresh coffee, her hands steadier now. You knew that one, didn't you? Martha asks Emma. The quiet one. Emma nods. Not personally, but I remember that day in Kandahar. Lost good people. Big Rig approaches, his face serious. Got word from down the highway. Storm riders have a compound about 10 miles south. Old truck depot they took over. Tom joins the conversation, police scanner in hand. Sheriff Parker's been trying to build a case against them. Assault, extortion, intimidation. But nobody's willing to testify. Emma's expression darkens. Fear's a powerful weapon. These men know how to use it. Sarah sets down her coffee pot. But we're not afraid anymore, right? Being brave doesn't mean you're not afraid, Emma corrects gently. It means you act despite the fear. Back at the compound, Ghost stands apart from the others, lost in memories of Kandahar. Thunder watches him, his anger warring with curiosity. Tell me about her, Thunder finally demands. About that day. Ghost turns, surprised by the request. We were moving supplies, routine mission. Taliban hit us hard, IEDs, RPGs, the works. Her unit was nearby, responded to our distress call. She led the rescue personally. Never seen anything like it. The other bikers listen intently, seeing their quiet companion more animated than usual. We lost 8 good men that day, Ghost continues. Would have lost all 30 if not for her team. She didn't just fight, she led. Kept us calm, organized, fighting back instead of panicking. Thunder absorbs this, his face unreadable. And now she's here, standing between us and what we want. Maybe, Razor suggests carefully, what we want isn't what we need. Wolf snorts. What's that supposed to mean? Look at us, Razor continues, gaining confidence. We're supposed to be riders, free spirits. Instead, we're terrorizing truck stops and harassing waitresses. Is this really what you signed up for? The question hangs heavy in the air. Thunder's face shows a flash of something, regret perhaps, or memory of different times. At the truck stop, Emma's phone rings again. It's her brother James. "Got some information about your biker problem," James says. "Their leader, Thunder? His real name's Jack Morrison, ex-construction worker, lost everything in the recession. Wife, house, job." Emma processes this. Everyone's got a story. There's more. He used to do volunteer work at the VA hospital. His father was a Vietnam vet. This catches Emma's attention. When did he stop? Around the time he lost everything. "Emma, I think this guy, he's not just some thug. He's lost his way." Emma looks out at the night, thinking, sometimes the toughest battles are the ones we fight with ourselves. The truckers continue their watch, but Emma's mind is working on a different level now. She understands something about Thunder, that perhaps he's forgotten about himself. Sarah notices her expression. "What is it?" "Maybe we're fighting the wrong battle," Emma says quietly. "These men, they're not just bullies. They're lost." Big Rig raises an eyebrow. "Lost or not, they're dangerous." "Yes," Emma agrees, "but maybe there's a way to help them find their way back." Tom looks skeptical. "After everything they've done?" "Everyone deserves a chance at redemption," Emma says, "even if they don't know they're looking for it." The night deepens, but the tension has shifted. Something is changing, not just at the truck stop, but in the hearts and minds of everyone involved. In the distance, Thunder sits alone on his bike, Ghost's words echoing in his mind. The image of Emma leading men to safety in Kandahar conflicts with his need for revenge, creating a discord he can't quite resolve. "What are we doing, boss?" Razor asks quietly. Thunder doesn't answer immediately. When he does, his voice carries a weight of uncertainty he's never shown before. "I don't know anymore. I don't know." The admission hangs in the air, a crack in the armor that's been building for years. The Storm Riders exchange glances, sensing that something fundamental is shifting in their world. And at the truck stop, Emma watches the horizon, knowing that the next confrontation won't be about strength or intimidation. It will be about finding a way back from the darkness that has consumed these men. "They'll come back," she tells Sarah. "But maybe this time, we can help them find what they're really looking for." Dawn breaks over Sunset Valley truck stop, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. The night watch truckers are replaced by fresh faces, but Emma remains, her military training allowing her to stay alert despite the long hours. Sarah brings her a fresh cup of coffee. "You should get some rest." "Not yet," Emma responds, her eyes fixed on her phone where James has sent more information about Thunder and his crew. According to the files, Thunder's descent began 3 years ago. His construction company went under, taking the jobs of 30 workers with it. His wife left, taking their teenage son. The VA hospital where he volunteered closed its veterans program due to budget cuts. The Storm Riders formed about 6 months after that, Emma tells Tom as he joins her. Started small, just Thunder and Tank. Then they picked up Ghost, fresh out of the army and struggling with PTSD. Doesn't excuse what they've become, Tom says firmly. No, Emma agrees, but it explains it. They're looking for something they lost: purpose, community, respect. At the compound, Thunder emerges from his quarters after a sleepless night. The others are already up, the usual morning bravado notably absent. "Ghost," Thunder calls. "Tell me more about Kandahar, about her." Ghost looks up from his coffee, surprised. "What do you want to know?" "Everything. How she led, how she fought, how she saved your people." As Ghost begins talking, Emma's phone rings again. This time it's Sheriff Parker. "Got a problem, Emma. Storm Riders hit a diner in Millbrook last night, broke some windows, scared some people. But it's different this time." "Different how?" "According to witnesses, Thunder stopped them from getting violent, actually pulled Wolf back when he tried to attack a customer. Emma processes this information. He's conflicted, fighting himself. Maybe, but conflicted men can be dangerous. They're unpredictable. Back at the compound, Ghost finishes his story about Kandahar. Thunder sits in silence, his face troubled. "We used to be different," he finally says. "When we started this, it wasn't supposed to be about hurting people." Razor nods. "Remember when we helped that stranded family on Route 40? Fixed their car, got them to a motel? Or when we raised money for old Joe's cancer treatment?" Tank adds quietly. Thunder stands abruptly. "Doesn't matter. Can't go back." "Why not?" Ghost asks, his voice carrying unexpected challenge. Before Thunder can respond, a familiar rumble approaches. A lone motorcycle pulls up to the compound. It's Kelly Morrison, Thunder's estranged wife. "Jack," she says, using his real name. "We need to talk." The other riders discreetly move away, leaving Thunder facing the woman he once built a life with. "Why are you here, Kelly?" "Tommy saw you on the news. The trouble at that truck stop? He's worried about you. We both are." Thunder's face hardens. "I'm fine." "No, you're not. This isn't you, Jack. The man I married helped people. He built things. He didn't terrorize truck stops and harass waitresses." At Sunset Valley, Emma organizes a meeting with the regular customers and staff. "These men aren't just thugs," she explains. "They're lost souls who've forgotten who they are. Thunder, Jack Morrison, used to build houses for veterans. Ghost served his country. They're not beyond redemption." "So what's your plan?" Big Rig asks. "We show them another way, remind them who they used to be." Sarah looks skeptical. "After everything they've done?" "Sometimes," Emma says, "people need to hit bottom before they can start climbing back up." Back at the compound, Kelly's words have left Thunder shaken. He watches her ride away, memories of better days haunting him. Ghost approaches cautiously. "Boss, what do you want to do?" Thunder doesn't answer immediately. When he does, his voice is different, uncertain, almost vulnerable. "I don't know, Ghost. For the first time in years, I really don't know." Razor joins them. "Maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe it's time for a change." Thunder turns to face his crew, seeing them clearly for the first time in years. Tank, his loyal friend who followed him into darkness. Ghost, a wounded warrior looking for belonging. Razor, the voice of reason he's been ignoring. "We've gone too far," Thunder says quietly. "Crossed too many lines." "It's never too late," Ghost replies. "That's what she taught us in Kandahar. Every moment is a chance to make a different choice." At Sunset Valley, Emma receives another call from Sheriff Parker. "Kelly Morrison just left their compound. Says Jack seems different, troubled." "Good," Emma responds. "Troubled means thinking. Thinking means hope." As the morning progresses, both the truck stop and the compound sit in uneasy silence. Two communities at a crossroads, each waiting to see what happens next. Emma watches the sunrise, remembering other dawns in far-off places. "Sometimes," she tells Sarah, "the hardest part isn't fighting the enemy. It's helping them find their way back to who they really are." The stage is set for a confrontation, but not the one anyone expected. The real battle isn't about strength or territory. It's about redemption, about finding a way back from the darkness. And somewhere between these two worlds, a group of lost riders begins to remember who they used to be. The afternoon sun beats down on the compound as Thunder sits alone in his office, surrounded by old photographs and newspaper clippings. One headline catches his eye. "Local construction company helps veterans build new lives." His own face smiles back at him from the photo, younger and full of purpose. "I remember that project," Tank says from the doorway. "Built 3 houses for disabled vets. You were different then. We all were." Thunder doesn't look up. That man's gone. Is he? Or is he just lost? Meanwhile, at Sunset Valley, Emma's working on a different kind of construction. She's gathered the truckers, staff, and regular customers for a meeting. "These men have forgotten who they are," she explains, spreading out newspaper clippings about Thunder's past community work. Our job isn't to fight them, it's to remind them. And how exactly do we do that? Big Rig asks, skeptical but interested. By giving them a chance to be those men again. I've got an idea, but I'll need everyone's help. Sarah leans forward. What kind of idea? Emma pulls out plans for a local veterans shelter that's fallen into disrepair. This place needs renovation. Thunder used to build homes for vets. Maybe it's time he remembered why. Back at the compound, Ghost returns from a supply run with unusual news. There's something happening at that veterans shelter on Oak Street, he tells Thunder. Bunch of truckers there working on the place, and her, the Marine. She's leading it. Thunder's face darkens. What game is she playing? No game, boss, Ghost replies. They're fixing the place up. Like what we used to do. Thunder stands abruptly. Get the others. We're going to check this out. At the shelter, Emma directs volunteers while keeping one eye on the horizon. She knows they'll come. It's just a matter of when. You sure about this? Tom asks, watching her position people strategically around the worksite. Sometimes the best way to disarm an enemy is to give them what they really need, not what they think they want. The rumble of motorcycles announces the Storm Riders' arrival. They pull up in formation, but something's different. There's hesitation in their approach. Thunder dismounts first, his eyes taking in the scene. Truckers and locals work side by side, repairing walls, fixing windows, carrying supplies. It's familiar, too familiar. What is this? He demands, approaching Emma. Community service, she replies calmly. Something you used to know a lot about. Thunder's jaw tightens. If you think this changes anything. Look around, Jack, Emma says, using his real name. Remember the man who built homes for veterans? The one who gave people second chances? That man's dead. No, he's just lost. Like you were in Kandahar, Ghost. Ghost steps forward. She's right, boss. This is what we used to stand for. Thunder turns on him. We're not those people anymore. Why not? Emma challenges. Because you lost everything? Because the world dealt you a bad hand? That's not the Jack Morrison I've read about. That man didn't quit when things got tough. Thunder's fists clench. You don't know anything about me. I know you're better than what you've become. All of you are. The other riders shift uncomfortably, looking around at the work being done. Tank picks up a dropped hammer, turning it over in his hands with familiar expertise. Remember when we built that ramp for old Joe? He says quietly. Made it so he could get his wheelchair in and out easy. Thunder's expression flickers. That was different. Why? Emma presses. Because you were helping instead of hurting? Because you were building instead of destroying? A truck pulls up and Kelly steps out, followed by their teenage son Tommy. Thunder freezes at the sight of them. Dad? Tommy says hesitantly. Mom said... She said you might be here. Thunder's face shows a complex mix of emotions, shame, love, regret. Tommy, you shouldn't be here. Why not? This is what you used to do, right? Help people? Emma steps closer to Thunder, her voice low. Your son remembers who you were. Maybe it's time you did too. The tension in the air is thick with possibility. The Storm Riders look to their leader, waiting to see what he'll do. Thunder stands frozen, caught between the man he was and the man he's become. Finally, he picks up a tool belt from a nearby table. Show me what needs doing, he says gruffly. Emma nods to Big Rig, who brings over the building plans. As Thunder studies them, his expertise begins to show through. Soon, he's pointing out structural issues, suggesting improvements. The other riders follow his lead, falling into roles they'd forgotten they knew. Tank's strength finds purpose in heavy lifting. Razor's precision comes in handy with detailed work. And slowly, something begins to change. The wall between two communities starts to crumble, not with violence, but with shared purpose. This doesn't change everything, Thunder tells Emma as they work. No, she agrees, but it's a start. The work at the veterans' shelter continues into the evening. Thunder wipes sweat from his brow, stepping back to examine the new support beam he's just installed. For the first time in years, his hands are creating instead of destroying. You haven't lost your touch, Kelly says, offering him a bottle of water. Thunder takes it, their fingers brushing briefly. Some things you don't forget. Nearby, Tommy works alongside Ghost, learning how to properly sand drywall. The teenager's eyes keep darting to his father, watching the transformation with a mix of hope and uncertainty. Emma observes it all, maintaining a careful distance while keeping the work organized. She notices how natural Thunder looks with tools in his hands, how his commands have shifted from threatening to instructive. Never thought I'd see the day, Big Rig mutters, watching Tank and several truckers work together to position a new window. People can surprise you, Emma responds. Sometimes they just need a reminder of who they really are. As darkness approaches, Thunder calls his crew together. The other workers pretend not to listen, but everyone's aware this is a crucial moment. This doesn't change who we are, Thunder begins, but Ghost interrupts. Maybe it should, boss. Maybe it's exactly what needs to change. Razor nods. Remember why we started riding together? It wasn't about intimidation. It was about brotherhood, about helping each other through tough times. Thunder's face shows conflict. We can't just pretend the last few years didn't happen. No, Emma says, approaching the group. But you can choose what happens next. The Storm Riders turn to face her, their usual hostility noticeably absent. Even Wolf, typically the most aggressive, seems thoughtful. The shelter needs more work, Emma continues. A lot more. These veterans fought for their country just like Ghost did, just like I did. They deserve better than broken windows and leaking roofs. Thunder looks around at the progress they've made in just one day. And you think we're the ones to help? I think you're exactly the ones to help. You've got the skills, the experience. More importantly, you understand what it means to lose everything and need a second chance. Sarah arrives with coffee for everyone, no longer showing any fear of the bikers. Martha follows with sandwiches, her motherly instincts extending even to former enemies. The diner's always looking for help too, Martha mentions casually. Especially with maintenance. Place isn't getting any younger. Thunder's eyes narrow. You'd trust us? After everything? Trust has to start somewhere, Emma says. Why not here? Kelly steps forward, Tommy at her side. Jack, remember what you used to tell Tommy? About how a man's worth isn't in what he owns, but in what he builds? Thunder's expression softens as he looks at his son. You remember that? Course I do, Dad. It's why I want to study architecture in college. This catches Thunder off guard. Architecture? Kelly smiles. He's got your eye for design, and your determination. The night air fills with possibility as Thunder struggles with this new information. His son wanting to follow in his footsteps, not the recent ones of violence and intimidation, but the earlier path of creation and community. Ghost moves to stand beside Emma. In Kandahar, he says quietly, you taught us that survival sometimes means knowing when to change course. Thunder looks at his crew, really looks at them. Tank's quiet strength, Ghost's hidden wisdom, Razor's strategic mind. Even Wolf's aggression could be channeled into productive energy. One day, Thunder finally says, we'll finish this one day's work, then we're done. That's not how construction works, Emma challenges. You know that. Every project leads to another. Every repair reveals more that needs fixing. The other riders watch Thunder carefully, seeing their leader wrestling with a decision that could change everything. Besides, Emma adds, these veterans need more than just repairs. They need mentors, people who understand their struggles. Ghost isn't the only one who's served. Thunder's head snaps up. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe the Storm Riders could be something different, something better. Instead of terrorizing communities, you could help build them. The silence that follows is heavy with potential. Tommy steps closer to his father, hope clear in his young face. "Dad?" Thunder looks at his son, then at Kelly, then at his crew. Finally, his eyes meet Emma's. "It won't be easy," he says. "Changing isn't easy." "No," Emma agrees. "But neither is carrying the weight of who you've become. Trust me, I know something about that from my time in service." As the stars begin to appear above them, the veterans' shelter stands as a testament to what's possible when people choose a different path. The day's work has done more than repair buildings. It's begun to repair hearts. "We'll need help," Thunder admits. "Guidance." "You'll have it," Emma promises. "From all of us." The storm riders exchange glances, seeing their future reshape itself before their eyes. It's terrifying and liberating all at once. "One day at a time," Thunder says finally. "We'll take it one day at a time." The next morning brings a different atmosphere to both the truck stop and the veterans' shelter. The storm riders arrive early, their bikes no longer a symbol of intimidation, but of change. Thunder leads them, carrying his old tool belt, the leather worn but well-maintained. "Never thought I'd see them here voluntarily," Sarah whispers to Emma as they watch from the diner's window. "People can surprise you," Emma responds, "especially when they surprise themselves." At the shelter, work resumes with a new sense of purpose. Thunder's expertise becomes evident as he directs repairs with professional precision. His crew, once feared for their destructive tendencies, now channel their strength into construction. "Need to reinforce this entire section," Thunder explains to a group of veterans watching the work. "Foundation's solid, but the support structure's been neglected." One of the veterans, an older man with a Vietnam service cap, nods appreciatively. "You know your stuff." "Used to," Thunder admits, trying to remember. Emma approaches with blueprints. "The city inspector's coming next week. We need to make sure everything's up to code." Thunder studies the plans, his old professional instincts kicking in. "These electrical specs are outdated. We should upgrade while we're at it. Can you handle that?" Tank used to be a licensed electrician. Before. He trails off, remembering their descent into chaos. Across the worksite, Ghost works quietly with a young veteran struggling with PTSD. Their shared experiences create a bond that transcends their past roles as enemies. "Some days are harder than others," Ghost tells the young man. "But you're not alone. Not anymore." Kelly arrives with Tommy, bringing lunch for the workers. The sight of her still affects Thunder, but now there's something different in his expression. Not just regret, but hope. "Tommy's been showing me his designs," Kelly tells Thunder. "He's got your eye for detail." Thunder watches his son excitedly explain his ideas to Razor, who listens with genuine interest. "I missed so much," he says quietly. "You're here now," Kelly responds. "That's what matters." Back at the truck stop, Martha and Sarah prepare extra meals for the workers. The diner has become a sort of headquarters for the renovation project, with truckers and bikers alike stopping in to check on progress. "It's like watching two different worlds come together," Martha observes. Tom nods, watching through the window. Sometimes the best way to end a war is to build something together. Emma's phone rings. It's Sheriff Parker. "Word's spreading about what's happening at the shelter," Jenny says. "Other communities are taking notice. Got calls from 3 neighboring towns asking how you did it." "We're not done yet," Emma cautions. "Change takes time." "But it's happening. The storm riders haven't caused trouble in days. That's a record." At the shelter, Thunder faces a challenge that tests his new resolve. A group of local teens has been vandalizing the worksite at night, leaving graffiti and damaging repairs. "We should teach them a lesson," Wolf growls, old instincts surfacing. Thunder's fists clench, but then he looks at Tommy, at the work they've accomplished, at the trust they're building. "No," he says firmly. "We're not those men anymore. We'll handle this the right way." Emma watches this exchange with approval. "I might have an idea," she offers. "These kids need direction, just like we all do sometimes." Thunder raises an eyebrow. What are you thinking? Let's give them a chance to be part of this. Show them how to build instead of destroy. It worked for some other people I know. The suggestion hangs in the air, heavy with meaning. Thunder looks at his crew, remembering their own transformation. Could work, Razor adds. Give them a purpose, like we found. Ghost nods. Sometimes the ones causing trouble are just looking for someone to believe in them. Thunder thinks of Tommy, of second chances, of the man he used to be and the one he's trying to become. All right, he agrees. We'll try it your way. As the day progresses, more signs of change become evident. The Storm Riders' leather jackets now collect dust and sweat from honest work rather than intimidation. Their loud voices carry instructions and encouragement instead of threats. Tank, working on the electrical system, takes time to teach Tommy about wiring safety. Your dad taught me most of what I know, he tells the teenager. He was a good mentor back then. Thunder overhears this and pauses in his work, emotion crossing his face. Emma notices and approaches. You can be that man again, she says quietly. You already are. Thunder wipes sweat from his face, looking at the progress around him. One day at a time, right? One day at a time, Emma agrees. But you're not alone on this journey, none of you are. The sun begins to set on another day of transformation, casting long shadows across the worksite. But these shadows no longer hide threats. They mark progress, change, and the slow but steady rebuilding of both the shelter and its workers. A week passes, and the changes become more evident. The veterans' shelter takes shape under Thunder's experienced guidance, while the Storm Riders find themselves increasingly accepted by the community they once terrorized. One morning, Emma arrives to find Thunder already at work, studying building plans with an intensity that speaks of his former profession. City inspector's coming tomorrow, he says without looking up. We need to make sure everything's perfect. Worried about something specific? Emma asks, noting the tension in his shoulders. Thunder hesitates. My license? My contractor's license. It expired years ago. If they look too closely... Already taken care of, Emma interrupts, pulling out some paperwork. Your wife kept everything. She renewed it last month. Said she always knew you'd find your way back. Thunder stares at the documents, emotion flickering across his face. Before he can respond, Ghost appears with urgent news. Those kids are back, he reports, but something's different this time. They find a group of teenagers in the shelter's parking lot, but instead of vandals, they're waiting nervously with their parents. One father steps forward. Heard you might be willing to teach them something better than destruction, he says, looking at Thunder. That true? Thunder glances at Emma, who nods encouragingly. Yeah, he says finally. That's true. What follows is a lesson in more than just construction. Thunder, once feared for his intimidating presence, shows surprising patience as he teaches the teens basic carpentry skills. His crew joins in, each sharing their expertise. See that joint there? Thunder explains to a particularly interested boy. That's going to support everything above it. You do it wrong, whole thing could come down. Do it right. It stands forever, the boy finishes, earning a surprised look from Thunder. Yeah, that's right. At the truck stop, Sarah watches through the window as more bikes arrive, but these aren't Storm Riders. They're other local motorcycle clubs, drawn by rumors of change. Word's spreading, Big Rig explains to Emma, about what's happening here, about second chances. Martha brings coffee to a group of bikers and truckers sharing breakfast, their former antagonism replaced by cautious camaraderie. Never thought I'd see this, she admits. Thunder's son Tommy has become a regular presence at the shelter, soaking up knowledge from his father and the crew. Kelly watches them work together, tears sometimes gathering in her eyes. He remembers everything you taught him, she tells Thunder during a break. Every lesson about building, about doing things right. I taught him good things once, Thunder responds quietly, before I forgot them myself. Ghost, working nearby, speaks up. Sometimes we need reminding, like in Kandahar. Sometimes we need someone to show us the way back. Emma oversees it all, her military training evident in how she coordinates the various groups working together. She notices when Wolf, usually the most resistant to change, spends extra time helping a young veteran learn to use tools despite his injured hand. Feels different, Wolf admits when she comments on it. Helping instead of hurting. The transformation isn't without challenges. Some community members remain skeptical, and old habits die hard. During a particularly stressful moment, Tank loses his temper over a mistake, falling back into aggressive patterns. But before Emma can intervene, it's Thunder who steps in. "We're not those men anymore," he reminds Tank firmly. "Remember why we're here." Tank takes a deep breath, nods, and apologizes to the startled worker, something that would have been unthinkable weeks ago. Sheriff Parker visits regularly, watching the changes with growing appreciation. "You've done something remarkable here," she tells Emma. "These men, they're different." "They're becoming who they always could have been," Emma corrects. "Who they wanted to be before life knocked them down." The day brings another surprise when a local news crew arrives to cover the shelter's renovation. Thunder initially retreats from the cameras, ashamed of his past. "They should interview you," he tells Emma. "You're the reason this is happening." But Emma shakes her head. "This is your story, your redemption. Own it." With encouragement from his son and crew, Thunder finally steps forward. He speaks honestly about their transformation, about second chances, about building instead of destroying. "We lost our way," he admits to the reporter. "But sometimes you need to hit bottom before you can start climbing back up." The teens working at the site watch this with particular interest, seeing their own potential futures reflected in the Storm Riders' change. As evening approaches, Thunder gathers his crew for their now daily meeting. But this time, something's different. "Been thinking," he says, looking at their leather jackets with the Storm Riders emblem. "Maybe it's time for a change. A new name, a new purpose." The others look at their patches, remembering the fear they once inspired. "What did you have in mind, boss?" Ghost asks. Thunder glances at the shelter, at the community they're building, at the lives they're changing, including their own. "How about the builders?" he suggests quietly. "Because that's what we are now. We build things up instead of tearing them down." The suggestion hangs in the air, heavy with meaning and possibility. Emma watches from a distance, seeing the moment for what it is, another step on the road to redemption. The city inspector's visit becomes a turning point. Thunder stands straight-backed and professional as he leads the inspection, his old expertise flowing naturally. His crew watches nervously as each area is examined. "These electrical upgrades," the inspector notes, reviewing Tank's work. "They're actually better than code requires." Tank stands a little taller at the praise. Thunder nods, pride evident in his expression. Not the false pride of intimidation, but the real satisfaction of work well done. The inspection concludes with approval, but it's the inspector's parting words that hit hardest. "You know, Morrison," he says to Thunder, "I remember when your company was the gold standard in this county. Good to see that quality hasn't changed." After the inspector leaves, Emma finds Thunder alone in what will become the shelter's common room, staring at the approval documents. "Feels different, doesn't it?" she asks. "Building something that passes inspection instead of breaking things?" "I'd forgotten," Thunder admits. "The feeling of doing something right, something that helps people." Their conversation is interrupted by excited voices outside. A group of veterans has arrived, former residents of the shelter who'd left due to its deteriorating condition. "Heard this place was getting fixed up proper," one says, looking around in amazement. "Heard the Storm Riders had changed." Thunder steps forward, conscious of his leather jacket with its old emblem. "We're not the Storm Riders anymore. We're something else now." The oldest veteran, walking with a cane, studies Thunder carefully. "You're Jack Morrison, aren't you? Built my sister's house back in 15. Best work I'd ever seen." Thunder nods, emotion tightening his throat. "Lost your way for a while there," the veteran continues, "but looks like you found it again." At the truck stop, Sarah serves coffee to a mixed group of truckers and former Storm Riders. The conversations have changed. Instead of tension and threats, they discuss construction plans and community needs. Got a senior center needs work, Big Rig mentions. Roof's been leaking for months. We could take a look, Tank offers. Got experience with that kind of repair. Martha watches this exchange with tears in her eyes. Never thought I'd see the day, she tells Emma. Those boys really have changed. But the day's biggest test comes when a rival biker gang rolls into town, having heard about the Storm Riders' transformation. Their leather jackets display the Road Devil's emblem, and their intentions are clearly hostile. Heard you've gone soft, Thunder, their leader sneers, confronting the group at the shelter. Building houses instead of busting heads. Thunder sets down his tools slowly, and for a moment everyone tenses, expecting violence, but his response surprises them all. You're right, he says calmly. We have changed, because we found something better than fear. We found purpose. The Road Devils laugh, but Thunder continues, his voice steady. Look around. We're not just building a shelter. We're building lives, including our own. Ghost steps up beside him, followed by Tank and the others. Their stance is defensive, but not aggressive. You're welcome to join us, Thunder offers. There's always work for those willing to learn. The rival gang's leader spits on the ground. You really have gone soft. No, Emma interjects, moving to stand with Thunder. He's found his strength, real strength, the kind that builds instead of destroys. The Road Devils look uncertain now, confronted not with violence but with something they don't understand. The teens working at the site watch the confrontation, seeing a clear choice between two paths. Finally, the rival leader revs his bike. You're dead to us, Thunder. You and your little construction crew. As they roar away, Tommy emerges from behind a stack of lumber. Dad, are you okay? Thunder turns to his son, seeing the worry in his eyes. Yeah, son. I'm better than okay. That evening, the newly named builders gather at the truck stop. Their leather jackets now bear a new emblem, a phoenix rising from tools of construction. Phoenix Builders, Razor explains to Martha, because we rose from our own ashes. Kelly arrives with dinner for everyone, and for the first time, Thunder joins his family at their table without hesitation. The diner fills with the sound of plans being made, futures being built. Got word from 2 other shelters, Emma tells the group. They're interested in renovation projects. Seems your reputation is spreading again, Thunder. The good kind this time. Thunder looks around at his transformed crew, at his son proudly wearing a Phoenix Builders trainee jacket, at the community that's given them a second chance. Sometimes, he says quietly, you have to tear everything down to build something better. Emma nods, understanding the depth of his words. And sometimes you need help remembering how to build. The night deepens, but the diner stays busy. The transformation of the Storm Riders into the Phoenix Builders has become more than just a local story. It's becoming a symbol of hope, a testament to the possibility of change. And in the parking lot, their bikes now carry toolboxes instead of weapons, ready for the next day's work of building something better than what came before. 3 months after the transformation began, the Veterans Shelter stands as a testament to second chances. The Phoenix Builders have become a fixture in the community, their reputation for quality work spreading across the county. Early morning finds Thunder reviewing applications at the truck stop. Got 5 more guys wanting to join, he tells Emma. Ex-riders from different clubs. Looking for the same thing you were? Emma asks, sliding into the booth. Looking for purpose. Tired of the old life. Thunder shuffles the papers. Some of them have skills. Plumbing, electrical, carpentry. Sarah brings coffee, no longer the nervous waitress she once was. Heard you're starting work on the senior center next week. Word travels fast, Thunder says, but there's pride in his voice. The door chimes and Ghost enters with a newcomer, a young veteran still wearing his military boots, looking lost and angry. Emma recognizes the look. She's seen it too many times. Found him sleeping behind the shelter, Ghost explains quietly. Combat engineer in Afghanistan. Lost his way when he got home. Thunder stands, extending his hand. Here you know your way around construction. The young veteran eyes him warily. Maybe. What's it to you? Could use someone with those skills, if you're interested in building something instead of hiding from it. At a nearby table, Tommy works on architectural drawings while Kelly watches proudly. The boy's talent has blossomed under his father's renewed guidance. Got the measurements for the senior center, Tommy calls out. Made some suggestions for improving accessibility. Thunder examines the drawings, his experienced eye catching details others might miss. Good work, son. Really good. The young veteran watches this exchange with a mix of longing and suspicion. Emma moves closer, recognizing a crucial moment. Sometimes the hardest part of coming home is finding your place, she tells him. These men, they found theirs with hammers and hope. Outside, Tank supervises a group of former troublemakers, the same teens who once vandalized the shelter, as they learn basic construction skills. Their parents watch from parked cars, amazement on their faces at their children's transformation. Keep that level straight, Tank instructs. Foundation's gotta be true or nothing else matters. The lesson carries weight beyond construction, and the teens seem to understand this. They work with focus, pride replacing their former destructive urges. Martha emerges from the kitchen, carrying boxes of lunch for the work crew. Never thought I'd be feeding an army of builders, she says with a smile. Never thought we'd be building instead of breaking, Razor responds, helping her with the boxes. The truck stop has become more than just a diner. It's the heart of this transformed community. Truckers share coffee with former gang members, discussing projects and possibilities. The wall between two worlds has crumbled, replaced by bridges of understanding. Sheriff Parker arrives for her regular check-in, but now it's about building permits rather than complaints. Got a request from the next county over, she tells Emma. They're interested in starting a similar program. Seems your little experiment is catching on. Emma watches Thunder with the young veteran, seeing how naturally he stepped into the role of mentor. It was never an experiment. It was about believing people can change when given the chance. The young veteran finally agrees to give it a try. Ghost shows him around while Thunder makes a call to the VA about housing. We take care of our own now, Thunder explains. All of our own. Kelly touches his arm gently. You always did, Jack. You just forgot for a while. The day progresses with its usual rhythm of work and planning. The Phoenix builders coordinate teams for various projects while training new members. The truck stop buzzes with activity as people come and go, the fear that once permeated the place replaced by purpose. Late afternoon brings an unexpected visitor, one of the road devils who'd confronted them months ago. He sits alone at the counter, watching the activity with confused interest. Thunder approaches him carefully. Help you with something? The biker shifts uncomfortably. Heard you're helping people, building things. That's right. Got any room for one more? Thunder studies him for a long moment, remembering his own journey. There's always room for someone willing to learn. Emma observes this exchange from across the diner, seeing another piece of the transformation fall into place. The Phoenix builders aren't just changing themselves anymore. They're changing others by example. Remarkable, isn't it? Martha says, joining her. How helping people build things helps build them too. Emma nods, watching Thunder introduce the former road devil to his crew. Sometimes the strongest structures are built from broken pieces. The sun sets on another day of construction, both of buildings and of lives. The Phoenix builders' bikes line up outside the truck stop, tools strapped where weapons once rode, their chrome reflecting the promise of tomorrow rather than the threats of yesterday. And somewhere in the gathering darkness, other lost souls ride the highways, hearing whispers of a place where second chances are built one nail at a time. 6 months after the confrontation that changed everything, Sunset Valley Truck Stop hosts a celebration. The Veterans Shelter renovation is complete, and the Senior Center project is ahead of schedule. The parking lot fills with bikes and trucks, their owners united in accomplishment. Thunder stands before the gathered crowd, uncomfortable in a clean button-down shirt but standing tall. Kelly straightens his collar with a familiar touch that speaks of reconciliation. Never thought I'd see this day, he begins, his voice carrying across the lot. 6 months ago, we were lost, angry, destroying instead of building. The Phoenix Builders, now 20 strong with former gang members from across 3 counties, stand together in their new jackets. The rising Phoenix emblem catches the sunlight, a symbol of transformation that's become known throughout the region. But someone, Thunder looks at Emma, someone reminded us of who we could be, who we were meant to be. The young combat engineer, now clean-shaven and clear-eyed, stands with Ghost. His hands, once shaking with PTSD, are steady as he holds building plans for their next project. Emma watches from the back, letting Thunder have his moment. Sarah brings her coffee, no longer the scared waitress, but a confident young woman who started taking college classes in social work. "You inspired this," Sarah tells her quietly. Emma shakes her head. They inspired themselves. Sometimes people just need to be reminded of their own potential. Thunder continues his speech, gaining confidence. The Phoenix Builders aren't just about construction. We're about reconstruction. Of buildings, of lives, of hope. Tom Baker, wiping tears from his eyes, whispers to Martha, "Remember when we were afraid to open the doors when they showed up?" Martha nods, smiling at the memory. Now we can't open them fast enough to let everyone in. The transformation extends beyond the original crew. The teens they trained are now regular apprentices, learning trades instead of causing trouble. 3 have already enrolled in vocational school. Big Rig steps forward with an announcement. "Got word from the Truckers Association. They're starting a partnership program with the Phoenix Builders, going to help expand this model to other communities." Thunder looks overwhelmed for a moment before composing himself. "We're ready. We've got something to teach now." Tommy, wearing his trainee jacket with pride, shows his latest designs to a group of interested contractors. His talent has caught attention, earning him early acceptance to architecture school. "Like father, like son," Kelly says proudly. Sheriff Parker shares news of her own. "Got calls from 3 other counties. They want to know how we did it, how we turned a gang problem into a community solution." The young veteran they found behind the shelter now leads their outreach program, connecting with other struggling vets. "It's about more than building structures," he explains. "It's about building bridges back to life." As the celebration continues, Emma notices Thunder standing alone, looking at his reflection in a truck's chrome bumper. "Having second thoughts?" she asks, joining him. "No," he replies thoughtfully. "Just wondering why it took us so long to see what was right in front of us. Sometimes the hardest journey is the one back to yourself." The sound of more motorcycles approaches, not threatening now, but welcome. More former riders seeking change, drawn by stories of transformation. Ghost greets them, his quiet presence now a source of strength rather than menace. "Looking for the Phoenix Builders?" "Heard you give second chances," one newcomer says hesitantly. "Third and fourth chances too," Thunder calls out, walking over. "If you're serious about making them count." The day winds down with plans being made, connections being forged. The truck stop, once a battleground, has become a sanctuary of possibility. As night falls, Emma watches Thunder with his family, Ghost with his veterans group, Tank teaching teens about electrical safety. The Phoenix Builders have become more than just a construction crew. They're builders of hope, architects of second chances. "You did good," Martha tells her, bringing a fresh cup of coffee. Emma smiles, watching another group of riders pull in, seeking their own transformation. No, they did good. They just needed to remember who they were. The stars emerge above Sunset Valley Truck Stop, witnessing another day of building, not just structures, but bridges between past and future, between who they were and who they're becoming. And somewhere in the darkness, more lost souls ride, drawn to the light of possibility, to a place where redemption is built one day at a time. 1 year after the confrontation that changed everything, Sunset Valley Truck Stop hosts a special gathering. The parking lot is filled with bikes and trucks, but this time they're here to celebrate the official opening of the Phoenix Builders Training Center, a facility dedicated to teaching construction skills to veterans, former gang members, and at-risk youth. Thunder stands at the podium, Kelly and Tommy beside him, addressing a crowd that includes media, local officials, and representatives from veteran organizations across the state. A year ago, he begins, his voice steady with newfound confidence, I stood in this same lot as a different man, a lost man, someone who'd forgotten the difference between strength and power. The Phoenix Builders, now 50 strong, stand proudly in their jackets. Among them are former members of various motorcycle gangs, each with their own story of transformation. But sometimes, Thunder continues, glancing at Emma, the right person at the right moment can remind you of who you really are, can show you that it's never too late to rebuild. Emma watches from the back, as always preferring to let others take the spotlight. Sarah, now in her second semester of social work studies, sits beside her. Did you know it would turn out like this? Sarah asks. Emma shakes her head. I just knew they needed a chance to remember their own worth. The training center, built by the Phoenix Builders themselves, represents more than just a building. Its classrooms and workshops are equipped to teach everything from basic carpentry to advanced construction management. Ghost, now the center's veteran outreach coordinator, leads tours of the facility. This isn't just about learning trades, he explains. It's about building a future you can be proud of. The young combat engineer they found behind the shelter a year ago now teaches a specialized course for veterans. His hands are steady as he demonstrates techniques to a class of former soldiers seeking their own path home. Tank's electrical training program has already placed 15 graduates in good jobs. It's about more than wires and circuits, he tells his students. It's about connecting people back to hope. Tommy, accepted to multiple architecture schools, but choosing to stay local, has designed an expansion for the center. His plans include housing for veterans in transition and a community gathering space. The next generation of builders, Thunder says proudly, watching his son explain the designs to interested contractors. Kelly, who never lost faith in the man Thunder could become, helps coordinate the center's family support services. Rebuilding lives means rebuilding families too, she explains. Sheriff Parker, speaking to reporters, shares the statistics. Crime rates down, employment up, community engagement at record levels. But the numbers don't tell the whole story, she says. You have to see the change in people's eyes. Martha and Tom have expanded the truck stop's hours to accommodate the center's classes. The diner has become more than just a restaurant. It's the heart of this transformed community. Every cup of coffee comes with a side of hope, Martha jokes, but her eyes are serious. As evening approaches, a group of bikes appears on the horizon. But instead of bringing tension, their arrival brings anticipation. More souls seeking transformation, drawn by the stories of change. Emma joins Thunder as he greets them. A year ago, these same men might have been enemies. Now they're potential brothers in the work of rebuilding. How do we start? One asks hesitantly. Thunder glances at Emma before answering. Same way we all did. One day at a time, one brick at a time. The Phoenix Builders gather around, welcoming these newcomers with understanding born of their own journeys. The sound of motorcycles no longer signals threat, but opportunity. As night falls, Emma stands at her familiar spot by the window, watching the expanded family the truck stop has become. Thunder approaches, coffee in hand. Never properly thanked you, he says quietly. For what? For seeing who we could be when we'd forgotten. Emma smiles, watching another group of bikes pull in. Sometimes the strongest things are built from broken pieces. The truck stop glows like a beacon in the darkness, drawing more seekers of change. The Phoenix Builders, once feared as destroyers, now stand as builders of hope, proof that it's never too late to begin again. And somewhere out on the dark highways, more lost souls ride, drawn to this light of transformation, to this place where second chances are built one day at a time, where strength is measured not in fear, but in the courage to change. The story of the Storm Riders ended here, but the story of the Phoenix Builders was just beginning. rising from the ashes of who they were to become, who they were meant to be, building not just structures but bridges between past and future, between broken and whole, between lost and found. This is not their ending, but their continuation, a testament to the power of second chances, the strength of community, and the endless possibility of beginning again. And through it all, Sunset Valley Truck Stop stands as it always has, a waypoint for travelers, but now also a lighthouse for lost souls seeking their way home. Proof that sometimes the longest journey isn't measured in miles but in the distance between who you were and who you become.